and not even order the box. If you just want to order a shirt, you can do that as well. Go to vtmerch.com to place the order now, and make sure you do it the next couple days. And on the bottom, it says the best investment a father makes is in his family.
That's great.
So let's invest into our families. Having said that, let's get right into it. First story I want to get into, Rob. I think it's fair to start off with the Kristen Welker interview. So the president decides to do an interview with Meet the Press Kristen Welker. She flies out to Wisconsin. Conditions are horrible. It is raining. It is pouring. If you listen to the entire interview, it's tough to listen to at times. Multiple times they have to stop for 5 to 10 minutes, and the president's still sitting there. This was one of the most viral clips on X yesterday because at the end, abruptly, the president gets up and walks out. And I want you to watch this and say, was this the right move? Was it not the right move? The president called Kristen Welker a couple words. So, Rob, go ahead and play this clip. Let's react to it. Go for it.
It was a dirty election,
Mr.
and it's
President,
happening again right now in California.
You've never presented evidence.
It's happening
that the
right now in California.
Rigged.
Right now, it's look at what's happening in California.
Where's the evidence to that?
It's
the
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. It's no, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days. And they aren't even close to coming up with it.
You
know why they're doing that? Because they're cheating on the election.
What? Do you have evidence to support that?
All I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen. And I listen to people. And let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a winner?
State and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote in California.
They're crooked, just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. Then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid. You play right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But, Mr. President,
you know why I got that? Because you have no credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd.
You have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk about
your elections in this country. We're like a third world country.
But, sir,
your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But, Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please.
Watch the mic.
All the way to Wisconsin.
Stepped on the mic.
I've
traveled all the, I know.
I've sat in the rain with you for an hour, on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr.
A country can never be great with a dishonest
Listen,
press.
we traveled all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
There you go. And the interview's over. Okay. So now, when he's doing this, Tom, first of all, your reaction to this, because she says they're going to do another interview again. It was a long interview. It's not like they only did a 5-minute interview. It was a good 40 minutes that they did the interview together, 35 minutes that they did the interview together. Tom, appropriate, inappropriate? Was she not being honest? How do you process it?
Well, you know, words talk, numbers scream. She was made moderator. That's exactly the question I was asking myself this weekend, Pat. I went and I looked. She was named moderator of Meet the Press in 2023. And in the middle demographic that everybody wants 25 to 40, 25 to 40 or whatever it is, to 54. I think it's 25 to 54. She's taken that show, not as moderator, it's now number one. You know, it's ahead of ABC. It's ahead of CBS. And so because she's Meet the Press is now number one on the Sunday news show.
So you're giving her credit. She's done well.
Yeah, the show has done well, and she's part of the show. I'll say that. It's Meet the Press, but the show has done well, and she's the lead moderator. So she's going to get the opportunity because they got the ratings. And whether you want to believe it or not, the people that are on the president's press team are going to say, hey, you know, they're number one in the ratings, so they gave it to her. But the conditions were terrible. That must have been hell for the sound man that is working there, because you saw they were in a barn or something that had been decorated.
It wasn't for the sound that he walked out.
No. But I'm saying that's a tough situation to put together a professional piece. But you know, she took this angle that the media takes that I have issue with. You are not congressional. You're not there for a congressional hearing. You're not there to make accusations go straight down. You're not there to do that. You're there to have an interview with the President of the United States and maybe ask some tough questions. But I think when you cross the line there and you triggered him, and he went off. And the backstory is we're seeing stuff happen in LA. I'm sure we'll get to that in a minute. But my take on it was, you know what? I don't agree with the way she
knows exactly what she's doing, and that's her job. She works for a freaking network that absolutely despises Trump. Do you think she likes Trump? Tom, do you think she likes Trump? She hates him.
By the way, he called her a Democrat in the interview. She says, "I'm not a Democrat. I'm a journalist."
Did
you catch that part?
Yeah, give me a break. And Pat, the fact that he's even giving you the time, I would be done. He doesn't need to even talk to these people, okay? And then she knows what she's doing, and then at the end she's like, "But we came to Wisconsin. Then why the hell are you doing?" Like, be fair, okay? And it's not like he's lying. If you believe that Joe Biden got 81 million votes, then there's something wrong with you. He's the most popular president in the history, more than Barack Obama and more than Donald Trump. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's as if you're challenging him for evidence, as if he's going to have his lawyer there to bring up all the stuff in Georgia, all the things that are in the courts, Pat, that a lot of these judges are Biden-appointed judges and they're Democrat judges. And then January 6th, you mean to tell me on January 6th that wasn't a setup with all the FBI, all the confidential human sources, with Ray Epps and all the stuff that was going on to make him look so bad, Pat, that he's the one that provoked January 6th when he said, "Be peaceful, go down there and you can protest." It's blatantly obvious what they did, and I love that you said that, Tom. They're doing it, Pat, in plain sight, and we're going to get to California in front of our faces, and we can't do nothing about it. Nothing. California can't do nothing, and we're so lucky because, Pat, Gavin Newsom is, but notice how he's quiet. He's the front runner. If they get in power, what do you think they're going to make it on a national scale, this mail-in ballots? You remember in Georgia, Pat, they had these, all the drop-offs, Tom, the Sharpie ballots in Arizona, everything. They cheated, but it's not illegal because you know what she said? That's how California voting is. And do you think it's right?
That's correct. And she doesn't even want to ask a tough question on it. And this is a president that gets over 90% negative coverage from them.
Yeah.
And my point was, she's acting like she's at a congressional hearing and he owes an answer for her out of a briefing book. It's a game of gotcha. And she, despite the ratings and everything, so the people that are watching have seen the ratings move, but she is part of the media.
Yes, she is, Tom.
Adam.
Well, I watched the entire interview, and at first, I think we sent a clip on our group chat.
Yep.
My first reaction was, wow, Trump really looks like a jerk here. And I said, let me actually do my due diligence here. And then I realized this was the last 2 minutes of almost like a 90-minute rain marathon in what looked like a barn in Wisconsin. And the conversation turned, at least initially for the first hour, was very cordial. I mean, he was being fine. And then it kept stopping and starting because of the rain. So what we're seeing is the tail end of him being frustrated, annoyed, and just done with the situation. And that's what's getting the headlines. But what I was focused on was sort of the substantive arguments that he was making. And I'll go real quick. I have 3 little things here. So number one, he said, listen, we're close to a deal. And let me tell you something. Part of if this deal doesn't come through, you know what I might do? She goes, what's that? He goes, I might blow the hell out of him. He goes, that's much easier to do, but I don't want to do that. But he goes, and then he kept saying, listen, this is 100 days. And he kept giving examples. He goes, Vietnam, we were in 19 years. And then she kept trying to correct him. Then, he goes, excuse me, 19 years. Like, what don't you understand? We're talking about 3 months versus 19 years in Vietnam. And he talked about Korea, and he talked about Iraq, talked about Afghanistan. He goes, guys, it's been 100 days. Are you really playing this game that we don't have enough time? And that's why I think maybe he's not that concerned with the midterms as much as maybe we would suspect. Number two, it was so funny. It's almost like you would say this in the playground. He goes, they did their blockade, and then we blockaded their blockade. And he goes, it's costing them how much? Almost $500 million a day. So I think he's just basically saying, we're going to squeeze them dry. He talked about him and Bibi being on the same page. They do have some differences in how
he says we have 2 differences. Yeah, we have
surgical they want to be in Lebanon, but we're very much on the same page. We get along very well. And then she kept pressing him on, you said no new wars. You said no new wars. He goes, excuse me, I never said that. He goes, and in fact, why the hell would I put so much money into the military and try to build up our military so much if you thought I was never going to use them? So then he kept basically
Let's
saying,
play this clip. Play the clip on no wars, Rob.
Changed because you insisted no new wars.
First of all, I didn't guarantee no war. Why would I have built the strongest military in the world? I built our military. I inherited a terrible military. We had no equipment. We had nothing. I built a tremendous military. Biden gave a lot of it away, but it's still a relatively small portion compared to what I built.
But you said it over and over again, Mr.
Why would I build a
President?
military? Now, I didn't want to use this, but I'm doing you and everybody else a big favor. In the midst of the greatest stock market in history, in the midst of the most successful country, because as you know, in the last time we were a dead country, Kristen. I know you're a big liberal. You're a big progressive, but
I'm
we
just
were-
a journalist.
I'm just a journalist.
Okay.
well,
Okay.
by the way, they cut it off right there. Here's what I think Trump believes more than anything. And he said this a few times. He goes, I'm doing the world a favor, whether you like it or not. And then he said something very specific. He goes, I won the election. Why? Because the American people